prevent us from falling close to the ground. Perish or try to fight it, parachute now. Last chance, the final moment, parachute now and deliver us to the ground. I wanna pull the string, on and on, I feel the speed. Too far to break from pressure, too much to bear.
Welcome, everyone, to the Chris Perish Podcast, episode 52, a monumental episode, as this is the episode where we wrap up the very first calendar year of the Chris Perish Podcast. And for that, I just want to say thank you to everyone, including our sponsors. That's right, Rogue Energy, where you can see that right in front of you. Go to rogueenergy.com, where they're having a massive Black Friday sale where you can hit promo codes BOGO for some good old money back. But I prefer you hit the promo code PERISH, PERISH, to save 10%, because that helps me and helps the channel. And that would be a little bit of all right. If you want to check out Turnbuckle Studios, right above that Turnbuckle affiliation program, go check that out. And if you want to get more information about the Turnbuckle affiliation program, then you might want to check out this link that is ticking at the bottom of your screen, affiliationprogram.my.canva.site. And if you want to help the Chris Perish Podcast, make sure that you're doing what our good old friend Bobby Petito is doing. But first, pleasantries. Good afternoon, Bobby. Thank you. But make sure that if you're on the YouTube, you like the video, you hit the notification bell button, and you make sure that you alert yourself every single time that the Chris Perish Podcast is on. And you can do the same thing with all other platforms, including the Instagram Live, and including the X, including all that beautiful Twitch and that Facebook. And engage. I appreciate if you engage, ask questions, talk to each other, have some fun. That is what we're all about. In fact, we have a good show, because I am going to rank my top 5 Western Canadian people who I personally would like to see signed to the WWE ID program. As we found out, the first Canadian was fellow female competitor Zoe Sager. So the Chris Perish Podcast would like to congratulate Zoe Sager on that achievement, and all the best in your hopefully soon future endeavors with the WWE. Congratulations. So let's actually Bobby's stats is coming in saying, I have Canadian wrestlers that I would like to see get in the WWE ID. Well, Bobby, when we get to that segment, we can have some fun together, because I would like to know yours, just as I hope you guys like to know mine. We're going to talk about Survivor Series WarGames, as we had an absolute massive show on Friday, where we saw not just the return of the wise man Paul Heyman, but he brought the 5th member. I'm coming in as a new not a new member, but howdy, Mr. Perish. Still lying here sick, but I am here listening. Well, hopefully you feel better soon. And I just want to welcome Jaylee Beans over on the Instagram. How are you doing? And if you want to go check out her on Twitch with all her stuff, sometimes she sings, sometimes she plays games, but she always scares when you hit those little emotes. I know she raised the price up on me because I went too hard on them, but they're fun. So go check her out and go support her as well. But yeah, on Friday, we saw Paul Heyman shock the world as he made his presence felt in Salt Lake City. And not only did he reveal the fifth member, he also made sure that the WarGames match had a little cult of personality. And yes, if you see where I am drifting, CM Punk is now the fifth man, joining Roman Reigns, Jay and Jimmy Uso, as well as Sami Zayn, to battle Solo Sikoa, Big Bronson Reed, Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa. Your guys' thoughts on CM Punk being the fifth man? Because I think a lot of people forget that when CM Punk came back, one of the things he did do, and you'll see this all over social media now, he acknowledged Roman Reigns. And there's been a lot of kind of going back and checking out how much there's correlation. He did mention to Roman that, hey, don't forget who the original Paul Heyman guy was. He was my wise man first. But there's also just been a lot of history, especially with Survivor Series, just from the two. Roman Reigns has had some huge moments as well. CM Punk returning to the WWE last year at Survivor Series in Chicago. But it was also Survivor Series where The Shield made their debut. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose in help of CM Punk to retain his WWE Championship, who he was alongside of Paul Heyman. So with all that history, need I say more? And the answer is I shall, because the one person who did not like CM Punk returning last year at Survivor Series was Shield member Seth Rollins, who has turned down the offer multiple times to join the Roman side of WarGames, only for CM Punk to do so, thus speculating that the plan is what WrestleMania 40 was supposed to be, and that is Seth Rollins versus CM Punk in the future. And I want to just ask everyone, what do we think about that? Because there's a lot to unravel just with that segment, that match, but also just the inclusion of CM Punk in general. How do we see him factor in on this team? What do we think happens here? Do we see Paul Heyman turn his back on anyone? Do we see Seth Rollins get involved? Do we see The Rock, who also has Survivor Series history pedigreed into his legacy? Could we see the final boss show up at Survivor Series in Vancouver this Saturday? There's a lot to unravel, as I said. As Bobby Bettino coming in, could we see Seth Rollins cost Bronson Reed or CM Punk to lose at Survivor Series? I mean, reach for those die. They could be loaded, because that question is not too far away, because you could be absolutely right. CM Punk could have his match being cost by Seth Rollins. So could Bronson Reed. Both members are people Seth Rollins does not like right now. So that could be one side of the coin here. There are plenty of sides to the coins here in this match. And just like anything involving the bloodline, it's never black or white. There's always a lot to go with. And if you're not already intrigued just by the last 3+ years of bloodline, whether you saw the trauma between Jay and Jimmy and Sammy, and then Roman losing to Cody only for Solo to take ownership of the group, bringing in Jacob and Tama and Tonga, kicking out Jimmy and Paul Heyman, and then all this coming back with Roman making his return, only for WarGames in Vancouver to be our present. We are 6 days away, and I don't know if there is a real end in sight here. I don't know if there's a clear picture in sight, because when you look at all of the variables in this match, you could go either way on any single one of them. And I think that just makes for not just compelling television, but amazing storylines and amazing just content that we could see at Survivor Series. And I don't know, it was very predictable that WWE was going to go Bloodline versus Bloodline at WarGames. I don't think we ever saw that we were going to see this much uncertainty with how this match is going to go, because we just don't know where the story will take us anymore. We're just sitting back on the edge of our seats because now we expect something to rock the foundation of what we expect. So let me know in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. I know I'm intrigued. I know this is a match that I am absolutely just excited for. I know if you want to follow a PLE Patrol, I believe that Turnbuckle Studios is going to be doing one with Chris Best, potentially Carl Carafel, and others. If you want to see me at Survivor Series in any shape, way, or form, locally here in Edmonton, make sure you're checking out Beercade YEG downtown. That is where I will be, and I will tell you there is an announcement you don't want to miss. If you're not able to be there, we will break the news next week on episode 53. But there is something telling me you'll see it before you see me on Sunday. So yeah, other matches. As right now, there are only 3 matches scheduled for WarGames. We have Damian Priest challenging the World Heavyweight Champion Gunther. And that match is, again, a match that I think a lot of us are expecting Gunther to retain. But I honestly think it could go either way at this point. I really do. Now, if I was a betting man, I would put my money on the Ring General to retain his championship. However, given how Damian Priest has been viewed in the last year, I don't think there is an end in sight at this match. I do think we're going to see something unexpected, but something to expect, potentially one more match out of these two. Whether that match is going to be by the end of the year, or maybe we'll get something of that at Royal Rumble, Saturday night's main event, something. Maybe even on the January 6th edition of Raw, where Raw goes to Netflix. Maybe they will wait until then. I don't know, but something in my stomach just tells me this might not be over by Saturday. And then we have the women's war game match where Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, Candice LeRae, and Sorry, just got a text right there. So we have Tiffany Stratton, Candice LeRae, and Nia Jax alongside. Who are all the other ones? I had it written down because it's early for me. But Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan. Wow. I need my Rogue energy. I really do. And 1 second. Yes, I remember. And they're up against the team right now of Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Naomi, Io Sky. And as of right now, it's saying Jade Cargill. However, on SmackDown, we saw Jade Cargill get brutally assaulted as we saw her lying on top of a cop car, and she had a storm of injuries, pun intended, happen to where not only is she out of her qualifying triple threat match in the Women's U.S. Championship tournament, but there is a absolute major major rumor that she will not be competing at WarGames. And one of those people who are expected to take her place at WarGames is none other than Bayley. So nothing right now is confirmed. So make sure that you're checking in on Monday Night Raw. Sorry. Monday Night Raw on Monday, and then SmackDown this upcoming Friday. So I'm sure more developments will happen then. So as of right now, those three matches are your your Survivor Series WarGames match or card. So if you're asking me what I think we're going to see something of development here in terms of the Jade Cargill situation. We don't know who attacked her. I know there's a lot of speculation of, was it one of Bayley, Naomi, or Bianca that attacked her? Very much a lot of correlation between the Triple H Shawn Michaels angle, where that brought Shawn Michaels to SummerSlam to have that unsanctioned match with Triple H. There's a lot of Stone Cold Steve Austin angles of who ran him over. I have a theory, but before we get to that theory, we got Chris Best coming in saying, so I wonder if the attack on Jade becomes a who did it story. As I said, a lot of correlation between the Stone Cold Steve Austin who ran over Stone Cold angle. Bobby saying, I hope Jade is okay. And what if it was NXT talents that attacked Jade Cargill? It very well could have been. That is, I think, the beauty of something like this. It really could be anyone. As we saw with the Stone Cold Steve Austin situation, we found out that it wasn't anyone who we expected. It wasn't the likes of a Triple H. It wasn't anybody like an Undertaker or Kane or one of the bigger superstars. It wasn't even The Rock. It was Rikishi, who famously said, I did it for The Rock. Now, what if this is all done to prolong a title reign held by somebody who is in the same bloodline? Now, during the time of Stone Cold being run down, we saw The Rock being champion. The Rock seemed to, get a lot of opportunity after this. And that is why a lot of people assumed it could have been him. He benefited from the situation. Now, when we see Jade Cargill on the SmackDown brand, obviously, we go towards the champion, Nia Jax, as, hey, this could be a future threat for your championship. Now, the easy answer was, well, are you saying Nia Jax is that person? No. I'm looking within the bloodline. I have a feeling when it's all said and done, Naomi will be the person who attacked Jade Cargill. So she and Nia Jax will team up and will become an allied threat down the road. Now, when you say, why Naomi? Well, she is married to Jimmy Uso. She is a part of the bloodline. Through marriage, Naomi is holding up the ones alongside with Nia Jax, who is a member of the family. So could we see something very similar to Rikishi's I Did It for The Rock to Naomi's I Did It for Nia? Now, Chris Best is coming in saying the only suspect we have is Piper Niven because she was shown at the scene of the crime initially, but I'm betting she was there to more or less throw us off. Yeah, the one thing that we are definitely known to get in WWE now are distractions. Kind of just, Easter eggs, so to speak. I mean, we always love those, whether it's in movies, whether it's in video games. And no, I'm not talking about the little chocolate goodness that you run around looking all over your house for when Easter comes. No, it's clues to the bigger picture. It's clues to something that's actually larger than what is going on. Now, could Piper Niven just be there as, aka a plant? So when all this is being, when the investigation really heats up, they can go to Piper Niven. Be like, you were there. Yeah. Then we can find out, no, she had an alibi, and I'm sure at the time she's probably doing something with Chelsea Green, who advanced, by the way, in her triple threat match when Bianca Belair ran out to go look after Jade after finding out that she got attacked when she defeated Blair Davenport. So, yeah, this is a very intriguing storyline. As of right now, there is nothing much to go off. So I'm not going to go into all these theories, but my early theory is that Naomi is the culprit and she did it for Nia because this prolongs Nia's chance to be the top draw on SmackDown. That is where I'm going with right now. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Bobby coming in saying it was nice to see Blair Davenport getting some TV time in the ring last Friday, like BFAB did the other week on SmackDown. That is correct. And as I mentioned last week, the rumors are heating up on that there are multiple talents and multiple people backstage that are pushing for more opportunities for BFAB, as she is doing everything in her power to impress everyone. And I guess the support system behind the curtain is quite large for BFAB. So once again, congratulations, and let's hope that this means more BFAB. Now, I have said I was going to do two things on this episode. One, rank my top 5 Western Canadian pro wrestlers who I would sign if I was in charge of the WWE ID program. The other is how to book Dominic Mysterio into a babyface. So I am going to start with my top 5 of pro wrestlers I think could be signed to the WWE ID program, starting with number 5, Christian Starr. If you see him, if you've ever seen him in the ring, you understand why. He's a very young, but very quick learning star on in the wrestling scene here. You can see him a lot on the Top Talent wrestling scene, and sometimes in the real Canadian wrestling scene as well. So if you want to check out either one of those promotions, you will see Christian Starr, and then you will clearly see where I am getting to when I name dropped him. Number 4, I can't go past people I consider family, and that is why Son of Irish is my number 4. The common thread with these is youth. Youth with loads of potential. Obviously, I can do a whole show in regards to what I think of Son of Irish, but given his young age in his early 20s and given his experience level so far, his athleticism, and just what he's able to do inside of a ring, I think there is so much you can do with that, so much untapped potential that a program like an ID program would just do wonders for him. Number 3, I'm going to go into the women, the women's division here, and I'm going to go Liza Hall. If you've seen her through the Love Wrestling scene, you can understand why. She comes from a wrestling family. Her older sister, Bambi Hall, is also a professional wrestler, and her mother, Raven Lake, was once a wrestler as well. She is second generation. She is absolutely firing on all cylinders right now, and just an absolute sweetheart of a girl. So if you want to see somebody from the women's division in the ID program, look no further than Liza Hall. And number 2 is also another woman. Her name is Relentless Riley Rose. Again, just like Son of Irish, very young. In fact, she has just a few years under her belt, but what she has done so far is turn heads, multiple heads that is, and she is just getting better. And she's just on that cusp of really finding out who the hell she is, and she is going to blow the roof off all of the venues she gets booked to in years to come. So I couldn't think of somebody better than Relentless Riley Rose as someone to be signed to the WWE ID program. And the number 1 that I have is current Love Pro Wrestling Grand Champion. If you got to see the Love Pro Wrestling show in any way, you saw Mars the Specialist take on Kuchita, and it was a fantastic match. And this guy has been absolutely just head turning the scene for a while. He was a part of the 7 faction. He has been around for close to 5 years now, I believe, and he's just getting better, very technically sound, more of an amateur wrestling background, but because of that, his athleticism, his speed, kind of like a mini Chad Gable in a way. So definitely look for somebody like him as well. Chris Best is coming in saying, I'd like to take the moment to congratulate Kamikaze on becoming the CWE Central Canadian Heavyweight Champion. Yes, part of the top. Thank you. But yes, congratulations to Kamikaze, which you can check out the episode with Kamikaze, part 1 that was, with him on the Chris Perish podcast. Still going around doing very well. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who has checked that out, and congratulations to Kamikaze. So that top 5 was Mars the Specialist, Relentless Riley Rose, Liza Hall, Son of Irish, and Christian Starr as my 5 that I would sign to the WWE ID program. Now, there's a lot of other people that you can go in. Honorable mentions goes to a Kamikaze, to a Jack Pride, to a Mitch Clark, to Bobby Sharp. I mean, so many people could just be absolutely deserving for this. I definitely wanted to go more to the youth side of it, as that's where I kind of think it could go. Bobby Petito coming in saying, Vaughn Vertigo, Mojabari, Taryn from McCowan, Katrina Creed, and Eli Surge, all great choices. And I don't have any disagreement with either one. That is another direction you definitely can go, and I would be all for it. And I think this is just going to be a fantastic thing to see. I'm very intrigued to see who else from the Western Canadian scene is going to be ID'd by WWE. So very much looking forward to everything else. So yeah, and the one thing you guys can look forward to is a weekly amount of content from Turnbuckle Studios. But instead of me just telling you about it, why don't you watch a little video that tells you instead, because it's better than me.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. All times are in Eastern Time. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m., followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Thursday we get a variety stream with the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Friday we game again with Unleashed, the Jessica Wilde story at 7 p.m. Following the game, join us for the SmackDown Security Detail at 8 p.m. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. On Sunday be sure to catch the Chris Perish podcast at 12:15 p.m. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day.
All that and more, and of course the inclusion this Saturday with the PLE Patrol for Survivor Series. And make sure you're checking that out. Bobby Petito coming in and saying WWE ID account shows a William Regal gave Jordan Oasis a WWE ID. I did see that, and congratulations to Jordan Oasis, as well as he looks like he is someone who, in my eyes, has the perfect attitude. So, and just the perfect mentality for pro wrestling. And yeah, if what I saw was an indication of who he is, I am very happy he has received that ID. And now I think the fun part, and that is, how the hell do I book Dominic Mysterio to become a babyface in the WWE? Now, very easy to say, well, if you're a great heel, you can make the transition very well. Just take whatever you have in terms of who you hate, and instead of being a babyface who you hate, make it a heel. Very easy to say that, but it's not always the case. Thank you to JWM Seabride X, who joined us on the Instagram. We are chatting pro wrestling. I'm about to hopefully turn Dominic Mysterio into a babyface. And right now I have multiple events written down in order of how I would do that. Now, we are starting with the current day, and yes, I am going all the way to WrestleMania 42. Now, I'm aware WrestleMania 41 is the next one, but that is not where this story will go. I think the one best part about WWE right now is the long-term storytelling. So I'm on point with this. But first off, I have Dominic Mysterio accidentally costing the Judgment Day in Finn Balor and JD McDonough the tag team championships against the Viking Raiders. We know that the Viking Raiders are currently the number one contenders. And right now, with that little rift between Dom and Finn, I think that ends up playing a larger part, and Dom coming out trying to help JD and Finn with the tag titles. It doesn't go that way. It leads to danger, and we see the Viking Raiders take the titles here, which then could cause really put a little bit of added dissension, added rifts between the Judgment Day, but nothing in my eyes that are too strong to really crack a foundation yet, because I don't think we're at the crack of a foundation stage right now with the Judgment Day. I think there's just a lot of, do we need a leader? Does somebody want to be a leader? Where are we going with this whole thing? I think there's just uncertainty right now. Maybe a little bit of growing pains with the new formation of this current version of the Judgment Day. And I'm going to have this kind of go on to the Rumble. Yes, you can add a rematch to, like a rematch for the tag titles in between, but I just don't see that really being a big deal. The next major thing I have is Dominic Mysterio eliminates JD McDonough from the Royal Rumble match. Now, this isn't a big thing. It's just one of those just happens to be there kind of things. And maybe he doesn't know, maybe he does, but it just so happens to where Dominic Mysterio ends up being at fault for the elimination of JD McDonough from the Royal Rumble match. Obviously, this could be a accident. This could be, one of those, I'm sorry, whoops, my bad kind of situations. Or it could be one of those, well, I'm going to do it. I'm going to play it off as an accident. I don't know. I don't think it really matters. All I do think, Dominic Mysterio eliminates JD McDonough, a member of the Judgment Day, from the Royal Rumble. This clearly does not sit well with the Judgment Day, and we see multiple backstage promos, multiple segments. And during this whole time, this is where Dom Mysterio, in his adolescence phase, really kicks up into a second gear to where Finn almost acts like his dad, to the point where this starts boiling over, and Dom flat out says, look, if you want to be a deadbeat like my dad, go right ahead, because I didn't join the Judgment Day to be joined or to listen to another deadbeat. So if you want to lead the Judgment Day, act like a leader. If you want to act like a deadbeat, then stand back and let me lead the Judgment Day. And this sets up a match between Dom Mysterio and Finn Balor at WrestleMania 41. And no, it's not a win and you're out or anything like that. This is a match that was decided by the group. And they say, look, we need to fix this. We are a family. Sometimes family fights. But sometimes when family fights, they fix everything. You guys need to fight to fix this. Whoever wins between you two is the leader of the Judgment Day after WrestleMania. That match happens, and Finn Balor gets the last laugh as JD gets the upper hand on it and helps Finn become leader. Now, a little bit of a notable thing. This is a kind of a teachable lesson to Dom after, saying, look, You spoke some truth. We need to go this direction. This is what's best for the Judgment Day. We have sights for you as I'm sorry, but this is what we have to do. JD and Finn Balor get Dominic Mysterio an Intercontinental title shot. As a look, we need this to be the place for the Judgment Day, but this is what we think you're capable of. We think you can be the next Intercontinental Champion. So Dom Mysterio fights for the Intercontinental Championship, and this could be 1 month, 2 months, wherever. It's after WrestleMania. He faces the Intercontinental Champion, whoever that might be. Dom Mysterio, with the help of the Judgment Day, becomes your new Intercontinental Champion. And now this is where it starts getting interesting. Because after a few months' reign of the Intercontinental Championship, we start seeing this ascension just a little bit more. Bobby Petito coming in saying, would you have him win as Intercontinental Championship as a babyface or as a heel? Right now, this whole story is to make Dom a babyface. We are just testing the waters at this point. He is still a heel. Everything is still kind of like it is, just with added storyline booking. It's very similar to the Jay and Sammy aspect of the bloodline, in that over months, it takes different things to kind of get them to the points that we now see them. So we get to a match where Adam Pearce is not happy with the constant interfering of the Judgment Day with Dom's Intercontinental title. So Dominic Mysterio is forced to defend the Intercontinental Championship in a championship scramble match on Raw. Now, the scramble match involves one other member of the Judgment Day, and that is Finn Balor. Finn Balor manages to get in this match only as a way to protect Dom in this match. Now, it'll be 6 or so people in this match, so I would then have 4 other baby faces. Now, the whole expectation is Judgment Day they don't have the numbers to do this. They won't be able to help Dom. However, people like Carlito, people like JD, they're not able to get involved. However, Liv tries to get involved in this match. And when she does, it ends up being Finn Balor who walks out as IC Championship. Now, the rules of a scramble match are simple. Whoever has the last pinfall in the match is declared champion. If you get a pinfall in the time frame, you are the temporary champion. So, as the match starts, Dom is your temporary Intercontinental Champion. But as the match goes, multiple people get falls. And with just maybe a minute left in the match, Dominic Mysterio is not the current Intercontinental Champion. But then Liv tries to do something. It goes wrong. Dominic Mysterio gets sent to the outside. She tries to fix it, but the person who gets the pinfall with about 10 seconds left is none other than Finn Balor, who then walks out as that Intercontinental Champion as Dom is furious. He doesn't understand how he is in this position and why Finn Balor is the one walking out with the title. he is not only looking confused by Liv, he is not happy with Finn. So this goes towards 2025 Survivor Series WarGames, where the Judgment Day takes on whoever. At this point, we think the Judgment Day needs to go to war to really fix everything. The foundation is starting to crack, starting to really take shape. But we see WarGames being that catalyst to kind of bring everything back. Only for Dominic Mysterio to pull the trigger and flat out walk away, not turn on anyone, but when he is the last one coming out of the shark cage and he's putting all the weapons in, he looks in the ring. And maybe his father is in the ring as well. I don't know. But all I know, he is loading the ring with weapons. And he closes the door and walks out. He walks away from the Judgment Day. He tells the general manager, who comes out asking, "What are you doing?" And he says, "I forfeit." So this way, the match starts 5-on-4, and the baby faces just go crazy and just in utter chaos completely dominate the heels. Judgment Day loses, and it's because Dominic Mysterio walked away from the group. This leads to Finn Balor wanting Dominic Mysterio, and he is absolutely furious. He wants to know answers, and this ends up going towards a match where if Dom wins, not only does he get Finn's Intercontinental Championship, but he also is free from the Judgment Day in any way. The Judgment Day and Dominic Mysterio are done. There won't ever be anything involving these two. It's just like the Chase U stipulation that you saw on NXT. But if Dom loses, not only is he not the IC champion, but he is forced against his will to be a member of the Judgment Day forever. Kind of like how when John Cena was a part of the Nexus. Kind of, in a way. Thank you, A. Shreyamora, for joining us on Instagram. I appreciate that. So right now I have Dom costing the Judgment Day the Tag Team Championships. Then he eliminates JD McDonough from the 2025 Royal Rumble. This goes to a match between Dom and Finn at WrestleMania for the leadership of the Judgment Day. Then towards an Intercontinental Championship win from Dom, which then goes into Finn Balor taking it away from him, only to Dom walking away from the group. And then we see Dom versus Finn for the IC Championship. Winner is in the, there's stipulations there. It's Dominic Mysterio's basically career on the line. He's either forced to be the Judgment Day lackey for the rest of his career, or he's free. And the one person in this match that you just didn't expect to help Dom anymore, his father Ray, ends up helping his son be freed from the Judgment Day. And we leave that show, whether it's a SummerSlam, whether it's Actually, it won't be SummerSlam because this is after Survivor Series. This would be at the Royal Rumble. And we are just teased with, is this the reconciliation of Dom and his father? No, I don't have Finn or Dom in the Royal Rumble match here. I think at this point, an elimination of the Rumble doesn't meet the criteria of the story. I think it did in the 2025. We're now going to the 2026 Rumble here. And the one thing to note, on January 1, 2026, I have Rey Mysterio doing something very similar to John Cena. He is announcing his retirement. However, he does not give, I'm going to do another year. I am going to head down when the time is right. So this happens prior to the Rumble. He then helps his son get away from the Judgment Day at the Rumble. Rey Mysterio, after the Rumble, where he does not win the Rumble, but he does come into the Final Four, maybe Final Three, maybe Final Two, whatever. Loses the Elimination Chamber. He is aware that he may never be world champion again. He brings out his son, and he challenges his son to one last match. And that match either can crown Rey a champion once again, but if he fails at the Intercontinental Championship, he knows that his legacy is over. So he challenges his son to a title versus legacy match at WrestleMania 42. And in this match, yes, it's face and face. It's father and son. It's in a wholly, just honest match. And we see Dominic Mysterio begrudgingly have to retire his father, defeats his father, to where the final scene that you see in this saga is Dominic Mysterio picking up his dad, hugging his dad. They embrace for the first time since Dom's heel turn. And with a crying Rey Mysterio, he knows his time is now over. He starts undoing the mask. And for the first time in WWE, Rey Mysterio unmasks. And he hands the mask to his son. He then straps the championship around his waist. They embrace once again. And they do that walk to the back for the very last time. And with nothing but honor, with nothing but pure wrestling, and nothing with organic love and emotion, we see the story between Dom and his father end at WrestleMania, where now Rey Mysterio is no longer, but Dominic Mysterio is now the king of the Mysterios and is now a glorified baby face. Let me know your thoughts on all that. But that is how I would book Dominic Mysterio into a top babyface. And on that note, we are hitting that hour mark, and I am going to say that this has been a fun episode, a very fun edition of the Chris Perish podcast. And I would like to thank everyone who's joining us, whether it's on the Instagram, whether it's on the Twitch, whether it's on the X, YouTube, or Facebook. I say thank you. Make sure you hit that like, that subscribe, that follow button. Make sure you're helping out the channel. Make sure you're doing your part, because I'm going to do my part to make sure I provide you weekly content every single week. If you live in the Edmonton area, I hope to see you at Beercade YEG this Saturday for WWE Survivor Series WarGames, because next week we're going to review WarGames as well as some TNA wrestling as well, among more. For the meantime, current time, I say we're out of time. But you have been absolutely fantastic. Have a great rest of your Sunday. And remember, go Saints.
We're